Well, roses are one of the most classic and beautiful additions to any garden, but this time of year, the heat and the pests may be dulling their shine. In this week's In the Garden, sponsored by Johnson Brothers Garden Market, morning anchor Chelsea Deffenbacher shows us how to bring those blooms back to life.
I'm here with Caleb Johnson out at Johnson Brothers Garden Market, and today we're going to talk about how to keep your roses looking fresh all season. So can you tell us some tips?
Yeah, so it's late July, so probably you got some roses in your garden that have some spent blooms, and maybe wondering how to clean them up and get your roses to bloom some more. So deadheading is one of the most crucial things that you can do to really reinvigorate and give the plant to send some more energy into new flowers that you can enjoy.
Okay, and so what do you think is the place that people should start?
Yeah, so when you're deadheading a rose, you want to avoid just going around and plucking each spent flower. That's going to take you a lot of time, and that's not really going to promote necessarily new shoots with new bloom. So what you want to do is you want to find a bloom that's kind of been spent, and you want to trace that stem back till you find a leaf set that's got 5 leaves on it. Now, if you prune just above that, your likelihood of getting a new shoot that actually has a bud in it is way greater than if you just prune the top or prune down to a leaf set that only has, 3 or 4 leaves. You want to look for those 5 set leaves. That's going to give you a better chance of having a new bloom come up where you actually deadhead.
And how often should someone be doing this?
So usually throughout the summer, you probably will want to do your first round of deadheading sometime in July, if not earlier, depending on the rose variety. And then, another time in August. And if we have a nice fall, you may end up doing one more round of deadheading in September. But if you're frequently doing it, once a month, that's going to really clean up your roses, and it's going to give them a chance to give you another show and another flush of flowers.
Okay, and then what about fertilizing? How often should that be occurring?
Yes, so fertilizing, definitely, again, these roses, since they do bloom so much, they're going to need fertilizer throughout the summer, the growing season. So my recommendation is every time you deadhead is just to put a lower dose than the first time you fertilize back in. So you may reapply fertilizer a couple more times before the end of the summer, and that'll make sure that plant has more nutrients to keep grabbing from in the soil to promote those blooms.
And then what about like bugs and pests and things? I know aphids can be a big challenge for people with roses.
Yeah. So that's the other thing. To keep your roses looking good, you want to keep them free of bugs and disease. So scouting often. So you're kind of sensing a theme here. Maybe every month you get out and at least deadhead and scout and see. And if you see a problem with, like, this rose over here has got some, black spot on it, you might find some aphids. You want to treat those things pretty quickly. So my go-tos in the summertime for a quick knockdown for any kind of fungus is a copper spray. And then if you've got any kind of bug issue, that you're seeing pop up, it's isolated, hit it really quick with a neem oil and suffocate those insects to knock them down. So those are my kind of 2 go-to, but frequently scouting, frequently deadheading, frequently fertilizing, all will produce gorgeous looking blooms throughout the summer.
And if you're doing all of those things and your roses still aren't looking great, what do you recommend?
Yeah, so the other 2 tips are you want to make sure roses, even though they can go dry, are getting consistent watering or at least a once a week deep watering. And then also make sure they're in at least 6 hours of sun. If you don't have 6 to 8 hours of sunlight on the roses, you're probably really not going to get many more blooms in that first flush. So regular watering, deep watering, and lots of sunlight.
All right, thank you so much. That's going to do it. Back to you in the studio.